My name is Ethan Dunn. I am from Larandra, Louisiana, and I am currently the president of the Husser Community Organization, the group that owns the Husser School, now known as the Husser Community Center. Other than that, the place is special to me because my 90-year-old grandmother went to school here, and so did some of her sisters, and her grandfather actually built the school. So I like to tell people that coming to Husser is like stepping back into a Hallmark movie because you don't see many small towns anymore that are this old that are still so rural, and we're still not even incorporated. I'm very fortunate to come from a line of family who inhabited this area well over 100 years ago. My grandmother has great grandparents on both sides of her family who one set came here from Spain, and the other half, being the Hussers, which the community is named after, came from Alsace-Lorraine, France. And we have the oldest Catholic church in Tangipahoa Parish right here in Husser, the oldest church community, rather. We're on our fourth church itself, but the oldest Catholic church community in the parish is here. We're kind of the community that never really outgrew its growth. Even in all these years, well over 150 years, where this community is actually older than Tangipahoa Parish itself. So Tangipahoa Parish was founded in 1869, and Husser goes back to 1855. It officially was not called Husser until 1888, but we have this area was inhabited by Hussers long before then. And like I said, we're the town that never really outgrew its growth. We are still extremely rural. We're not incorporated. We've got only a few little churches, 2 gas stations, 1 little post office, and most people that live here have lived here their entire life or are descendants of people who have lived here their entire life. So my great-great-grandfather, Hippolyte Husser Jr., built this schoolhouse, or he was the contractor who oversaw the construction of the schoolhouse in 1921. So it just made 100 years old, this year. And, very fortunately that we were able to be added to the National Register right before its birthday. And, after serving as a school for a little over 20 years, the community organization, which had been around since the late 20s, needed a place to call their home. Traditionally back in the day, when you had a community meeting, it was done at the local schoolhouse. Well, when the school closed and the school board was looking for, they were consolidating to other schools, and they were looking for what they were going to do with the school, sell it, keep it for something. It was finally decided that it would be sold, and the community organization put in a bid and won the auction at highest bid. And the best part of the story has to do with the auction itself. The community organization won the highest bid of $75 for the building and 2 acres of land. And nobody in the community could afford to pay that. So the Catholic Church, St. Dominic's, being, again, having been around for many years at that point in time, was for the most part the only place of worship in the community. Our First Baptist Church came around only about 2 or 3 years before the school came up for auction. So majority of the community attended the Catholic Church. So one Sunday during Mass, the priest held a special second collection just to raise money for the community organization to buy the building and the property. And in that one Sunday of Mass, they got their $75. So from that point forward, it was known as the Husser Community Center. And the very first event that they held here was a dance to welcome home all the World War II veterans, a community-wide dance. Our biggest threat currently is the structure's foundation. Again, being 100 years old, the school was built with nothing but fat pine, harvested from Zamurray Gardens here in Larandra, right next to us. The entire foundation is supported by wooden chocks It basically looks like a piece of a stump flipped on its side, and the building is resting on all of those wooden supports. Some of them were replaced many years ago by concrete, but the ones that were not are starting to rot, and part of the foundation is falling. And actually, one section has been sitting on the ground for quite a number of years, probably close to 10 years now. And the longer it sits, all of the beams underneath are now starting to decay. And for the very first time in 100 years, the building has its first sign of termites. So the biggest threat currently is the foundation. And if we don't repair the foundation, then we're not going to save any other part of the building. Second to that comes the roof. And then after that would be all the windows and doors, and the building will be structurally sound and secured from the elements. So what we see as the future for the building is we would like to see it fully restored. We want to completely redo the inside to its original state. You know, we're lucky that the original flooring is still intact in part of the building, and the secondary flooring in the big room is in really good shape with the original flooring underneath that. All original walls and ceiling and you name it, doors, windows, everything here is original. And we want to completely restore it so it can be used again by our community. We want to be able to give our community a place that they can call their home, that they can call their own for their own family events, weddings, birthdays. You know, up until the building couldn't be used anymore, it was used actively for different events. I can't tell you how many people have come to me and said, "Hey, Ethan, I had my 16th birthday party in there. I had my high school prom in there. My parents were married in the community center, and or the reception was held there." You know, we want to bring that back because there's not a lot of options for those types of things around here without having to travel all the way to Hammond or Amite. And you know, we're always, can I rent it? And unfortunately, it's not in that condition right now. So that's our hope. We want to have this place fully restored where we can use it again for community events and to be able to rent it out. Well, to my knowledge, and the best that I've found, there's only one other National Historic Site here in our community, and that's the Reed Estate. Actually, not far through the woods from here. So we are only the second National Historic Site in this community. Unfortunately, a lot of our other older buildings are either already gone or beyond the point of restoration, and us being able to preserve a place that many of our parents, grandparents, great grandparents, aunts, uncles, you name it, all went to school here or maybe even partook in the construction. To see it sitting here still and surviving it's hard to describe. It's you know, it's just an extremely special place. It's really hard to describe what it means to so many people. And when I brought my grandmother here a couple months ago to visit, and she had two of her sisters with her. One of the sisters that attended school here with her, you know, they hadn't been here in well over 50 years. And as soon as they walked in the front door and you see their face light up with memories of, that's where we had class. That was my classroom. Or their, you know, the teacher here for many years. That's where Aunt Effie taught us. That was her classroom. That was the cloakroom. You just see these memories flooding back, and that's what's special. That's what's special to me. And, you know, the more we get our project out there, those memories are coming back for so many other people. We understand that there are many people who want to contribute or would like to help us promote the restoration of our schoolhouse. And we don't really have a website currently, but we do a lot of our pushing on Facebook. And if anybody goes on Facebook and searches for the Husser Community Center, they'll find our page with all of our capital campaign information that really details the restoration project and all the other stuff that we have going on, trying to respark community involvement, old pictures from 100 years ago. That's really something that's been bringing people in. So anybody that's looking for information can find just about anything they need to know about the whole project on our Facebook page.